Welcome back to another Elmore Family adventure. Today we are going to be giving a review over the Disney cruise line, the Disney Magic, the one we recently went on in January of 2025. And before we get into our review, we're going to include our last little bit of our debarkation day right here. Debarkation day.
Welcome back.
Or no, yeah, debarkation.
Yep.
Debarkation.
Welcome back. We got to get off the boat. That's what I call it.
Yes.
But anyway, we got to have breakfast one more time. And they're not open yet.
But we needed to go ahead and come up here just in case the elevators got busy.
Yeah, because we got a lot of luggage.
We decided to hold on to ours.
Yeah. So
we leave fast.
So as soon as we get done eating, then it's time for us to get off the boat, they said. So we'll see.
Yeah.
The star of the show.
How are you this morning?
Good, good.
How are you this morning?
Good morning. How are we today?
Good. We got more pastries.
Yeah, start us off.
Mama got a banana phone. And I got a pecan something.
Something.
I was like doubled up on my
I got a blueberry and a little cinnamon roll thingy.
Everybody's got their coffee and waters. And here is the menu. Look at that pour.
Would you like that?
Oh, look at that. That is delicious.
I'm not gonna eat it.
Oh, wait. She got to take a picture.
Mom's gonna have pepper.
Look, Mama got that hash brown y'all like.
Look at the hash brown.
She got the hash brown. All right, we got some breakfast going on here.
All right.
All right, everybody gonna eat now.
Last meal.
Yep.
Pick a dessert.
Yeah, pick your dessert. It's a cupcake. A cupcake catapult. Goodbye. Thank you for such a great time.
Thank you. Your staff is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care. That whole process took maybe, I don't know, we never stopped moving. Yeah, it's just a long walk. Long walk down the pier, back into the terminal, pop out, walk down to this parking lot, and we made it back to the car. All good. Yeah, we didn't even need our passports out technically, so
We had them just.
we had them just in case. Did it!
First Disney cruise.
First Disney cruise in the books. Now we're back in beautiful Galveston, Texas. It looks a lot better than it did when we left, doesn't it?
Yes. Oh, so very lonely.
Take one last look at the Disney Magic before we head out.
What about this?
That was
Disney Magic. That Disney Magic. All right. And that was our trip. That was it. That was our last little bit. But we have a lot to go over about the cruise, our likes, dislikes, some tips for anybody who's interested in cruising with Disney, or maybe just cruising in general. And yeah, ready to get into it?
ready.
All right, so first I wanted to go over some of the things that you have to do before the cruise. So a lot of once you book your cruise, there's a lot of different dates you have to keep up with, whether that's, your check-in, so you have your time of when you're going to show up to the port, or booking extra dining like Palo on the Disney Magic, or even the Royal Gathering with princesses. So there's a lot of things that you just keep up with. One really good way to do that, if you're not great with keeping up with dates, is to join a Facebook group. They usually have, or somebody out there is, they usually put one together for your specific cruising dates. So you can find a bunch of people doing the same thing that you're doing and planning for that same cruise. On that same notion, in those cruise groups, they'll talk about doing a fish extender. In general, what you'll want to do before the cruise even starts is, if you are interested in getting pixie dusted or getting gifts and exchanging gifts with someone else, you'll have those different groups, and they'll do fish extender sign-ups. So that's another thing you'll do beforehand. My main dislike with before going on a cruise, or at least the Disney cruise, is that I wish that they had a more specific schedule for you. They have the general itinerary of which ports you'll go to, what days you're at sea, but I wish there was a way you could see what dinner you'll be at which night.
Because it's rotational, so you go to the different restaurants, a different one each night.
Yeah, and so I wish there was a way to know, okay, so your first night you'll be eating at Lumiere's. And say if this is, a longer cruise and you have multiple nights, it's, whatever, if you wanted to schedule Palo, but like a night or a cruise like ours, where you only have one night
At each restaurant.
It would be good to know if you really wanted to have dinner at Palo, or, And I'm a planner. I like to plan, so I would, that's my only grievance with the beforehand. My other tip would be to make sure when you do those dates and check-ins and you're looking at the app and everything, do everything early as you can. As soon as those dates come up, sign up for your check in, book something as soon as it opens, because you can always change things later, but some of those things may not be available later if you do end up wanting to do that. When I was looking at the Royal Gathering, so what the Royal Gathering is the princesses all come out at one time and you meet them like back to back. They will cut that off with a certain amount. And by the time I signed up, which was a couple hours after it opened, we weren't sure if we were going to do it, blah, blah. And one of the days was already full. So they had multiple time slots. One day was already full. We had to do the day 4, our last day at sea, for that. So, and I can't imagine too many people after me, signing up. So big thing about before your cruise, be early, and that theme will continue on throughout this video. One thing, depending on where you live, where your cruise is heading out of, particularly for the Disney Magic, which often heads out of Galveston, if you do not live in the area, there are 2 airports. One is Hobby, which is closer to the port, or there's
Bush International.
Bush International.
Yeah.
I was like, Bush is somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Bush International is the bigger one, closer to, I guess, Maine, Houston Center.
It's up towards the
northern side of Houston.
Yeah.
My personal recommendation, I think you'll back it up. If you are flying in, please fly in a day before you board and either get a hotel in Houston or a hotel in Galveston. That'll alleviate a lot of stress, because so many things can go wrong. That's another kind of indication is in the groups. One of the individuals in our group was talking about how their flight was on time, but their car had to turn around and go pick up somebody else, and so it was just, they made it, thankfully, but you just never know.
It was close.
So it's scary. So make sure if you're flying in, you stay at a hotel. If you can, go to Hobby. We love Hobby. If you watch any of our other vlogs, we almost always head out of Hobby. It's smaller and way easier to navigate. So shout out to Hobby. We love ya. So stay a night before. If you fly in, you'll have a ride into the port, which they'll drop you off at the correct place. If you are close by, or if you're renting a car, you'll need to pre-purchase parking, or you can probably find it the day of. But again, how stressed do you want to be right before your cruise? If you want a less stressful time, make sure you pre-purchase a parking spot. We were looking into the building parking spot with the Port of Galveston official site. They have a enclosed building. with spots. That one will fill up pretty fast, but a good second option, or even a first option, because we really liked this second option, is the Port of Galveston Express lot. This lot is right in front of the port that Disney usually uses, and you walk, I don't know,
Not far.
a couple steps and you're right at the port.
It's not covered, so if
Right.
you're, really dead set on covered parking, then you would need to choose one of the other building parkings. But as far as convenience, and if you choose the covered parking, you have to cross the street or ride a bus, or transport from the parking garages over. But this express parking, we didn't have to worry about a bus. We didn't have to worry about, once we got back, loading all our luggage up in a bus to transport us back over to parking. So I think that's probably the way we'll go from now on, because it was so convenient.
And you get a great view of the cruise itself, or the boat itself. Ship, I guess I should say.
Yeah,
not boat. And I think that kind of leads us into your embarkation day. So depending on what time you pick as your arrival time for your arrival form / what you get when you do the check-in online, you'll still want to get there early. Main reason for at least the Port of Galveston is it may or may not be super busy. There have been times I went to pick up mom and dad from their Carnival cruise. Super busy. It took forever just to get down the street, even with, stoplights and everything. Versus when we arrived early because we had that experience last time. We arrived early, super early for our Disney cruise. There was nobody.
There was no traffic.
It was empty.
Hardly at all.
However, that was great. We still felt, good and on time. So you'll want to get there early. If you are doing any of the parking options, you can drop off your luggage at the port. So what it looked like for us in the express parking is you pulled in through the drive-through, dropped off your luggage with what they call porters?
Porter.
Tip your porters handling your luggage. They work with the Port of Galveston, I believe. They're not technically Disney cast members.
Right. They're with the Port of Galveston, and they do work so it's not like you're, dropping your luggage off with a stranger.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it was convenient, because we were going to just go park, and they were like, "No, drop your luggage off first."
And we're like,
and
"Okay,
the
fine."
police, the traffic directors were like, "No, drop your luggage off first." So that's what we did.
Yeah, and so the express parking with Port of Galveston is literally right at the end of the drive-through of the port. You take a right and you're in the parking lot. There's this one cover thing that makes sure, you paid for parking, or you can pay there. And if there's spots, and you drive in and pick your parking from there. There's not specified spots or anything. Assigned. So, and that's where we parked. We parked on the very closest end to the port, so we just walked right on in. We were there pretty early, so people were still just getting off of the ship, and nobody was being directed on, or at least through check-in yet. But just so you know, if you do have an early arrival time, listen in, because they might start calling times early. So I think it was like 10:30 when they started calling,
and we were like 11 or 11:30.
Yeah. Well, I think our arrival time was like 12 something. 12 or 12, I think 12 to 12:15. That was our arrival time. We were there at like 10:30, and they started calling the 11s, which is, I think those are concierge, because I think we got pretty early time for the general group. So, we were there, and we were there early, and they started calling things early, so we were able to go in early.
So we were able to go,
That doesn't mean that'll be the case every single time. If there's any delays or anything like that, that may, but if you get there early, then you have the chance to get on the boat early. And so the check-in process, really easy. The main tip for that, make sure you have all your travel documents out and ready. Handy, on hand. Your port arrival form, which I recommend you print out, or at least have a screenshot of it on your phone. Another tip is that you can put it in your Apple Wallet. I'm not sure on Google devices. I'm sure there's like an equivalent, but you can put it in your wallet, screenshot it. But I highly recommend printing it out. That way you just whip it out. It's in your hand. And then your passports and any kind of travel documentation that you need. That way you blast through the security, the check-in desk. At the check-in desk, if you have a Magic Band Plus, you will want to have that out as well, because you can use Magic Band Plus on the cruise ships, not a regular Magic Band, but a Magic Band Plus, and that's where they'll, sync that up with your account. Security. So we were a little nervous when it came to what may or may not be seized in terms of, not that we were going to bring anything dangerous. We had questions about like wall plugins,
plugs,
things like that. And the ones that we used were the like USB towers. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, well, they plugged straight in, and to the plug, and then they had places that you could put USBs and then maybe one regular plug in there.
Yeah, I'll try to include a link to the Amazon.
And that was for Disney. When we went on the Carnival, I had purchased a block plug that had a cord on it that said that they were cruise approved. But when we looked at Disney, they said nothing with cords. So that's why we went with the other. Just be aware that you need to check on that.
And they didn't say anything about the ones that we brought. So I'll include those and link down in the description. So if you're worried, those are the exact ones we used. Now, I can't guarantee that they won't have
those were fine.
But I'm pretty sure they were fine. We had because they were, I think, in our carry-on, and no issues. If you are wondering about bringing on alcohol or waters, we brought on little 6-packs of waters and a bottle of wine. You can bring those on the ship, but they have to be in your carry-on. You can't leave them in your checked luggage with the porters. You have to bring them with you.
They have to be sealed. They can't be open.
Yes.
So if you're going to bring wine or any kind of alcohol, it needs to be sealed. So you have the choice of giving your luggage to the porters that you have tagged with the tags that they send you, and then you have your carry-on. You have to take, your room will not be ready unless you board really late, because they are cleaning everything from the previous cruise that just let out right before they start loading this cruise. So whatever you take on, you carry on, you have to keep up with that and take that with you wherever you go. So, just be aware of that. You may want to, check most everything. And I say check just because I fly all the time, but, I don't know what it's called.
I would say check. Just leave it with somebody.
Check the luggage. And then, you may not want to take a whole lot of stuff that you have to keep up with. And if you're taking your family and you're going to want to swim before you get into your room, which you can. They have towels. You can go ahead and get in the pool as soon as you get up there. Make sure that you keep your bathing suits in whatever you're carrying on with you.
Yes, excellent point. And the general time where rooms would be available would be close to like 1:30 or 2.
Yeah, usually
around
before 3
that time.
You can get in. You can always go to your deck and see if the rooms are open or not. They'll usually have it, closed off if they're not. At least have part of the rooms on each hallway done.
Yeah, so and I think that's pretty standard with all cruises.
Yes.
So once you get through security, you're checked in, they're like, yep, you're on this cruise. You'll head up the escalators at the port, and that's where you'll see a few step and repeats for pictures and a bunch of chairs. And that's where you're going to wait for your boarding group number to be called to actually get on the ship. And we were in boarding group 9, so pretty early. Again, got there early. We had plenty of time. But just because, you're boarding group 10 doesn't mean your group is going to be called, way later. I think we had just enough time to take pictures, use the bathroom, and maybe sit for 5 minutes before they were blasting through group numbers. Because just because you're in group 1, doesn't mean you're there. Some groups may, want to get there later, or for whatever reason they don't have a bunch of people on group 1 or 2 and through 10.
Yeah.
So it could go really fast. And so again, be there early, listen for your number, and because they will call it overhead, but they'll also call it on a little thing, sign.
They'll hold up.
They'll hold up a sign for you. And they will also check your port arrival form before they let you in the line for the first official picture that they'll take. And then you're set. Oh, and real quick, just because they've already gone past your number, like, you can join.
You can still go.
Yeah.
If say you get up there a little bit later than after your number's been called, you can just go get in line, and you don't have to wait or anything. You can just go get in line with whatever group is currently boarding.
At that point, they're basically checking like that you're not, boarding group 20 and you're hopping in. Yeah. I think that's pretty much that last check. Yeah. But once you're checked in, you took your first picture, you are heading up the ramp and you see the boat. You are about, I'm going to call it a boat. I'm sorry. That's just going to fall out of my mouth every time. You head on, they're going to ask you for your name, and then they'll announce your arrival to everybody in the atrium, and then you're in. So once you're in, somebody's going to be like, hey, you hungry? We have this restaurant available and Cabanas. We were adamant about starting at Cabanas because Cabanas is the buffet on the Disney Magic. It's called different things on other Disney cruises. I think it's called Marceline's on some of the new ones. But Cabanas is the buffet, and they will have an assortment of foods. One thing that I think Disney is pretty famous for at Cabanas is their chicken wings. And on the sail away or on the embarkation day, they have crab legs and seafood.
They have really good bull shrimp. Every day they had bull shrimp, I had it. It was amazing. It was so good.
It really was.
Yes, the cocktail sauce, it was really good.
Yeah, so they'll have a bunch of stuff. While you are eating, they'll also probably come around with the drink of the days and the drink of the day cups. Those are slightly discounted drinks and a take-home cup for you. And we got 2 of those. I think it was a Bahama Mama on our first day. Yum. And then we had that cup for the rest of our trip to use as well on those drink of the days. This is more of like a walk through the cruise with us. So you're chilling out, relaxing at Cabanas. I would say we'll get more into the food later, but Cabanas, really good food. Then you're gonna want to check your phone. This is the best time to now check your phone, join the Disney Cruise Line Wi-Fi, and you can do that through the Cruise Line app, and that'll get you all set up. Then you can officially see your schedule. So again, I wish we could see it that earlier, but now you can see it. Now you know where you're eating dinner that night, where you're eating dinner on Pirate Night, and more of the times and things going on the ship. So like when you can meet characters, all the details are in the app now, which I do really like the app itself. It is the hub for your entire cruise to know what's going on when and how to make the most of your time. So make sure you do all that inside the app. If you are thinking about purchasing the Wi-Fi package, if you're trying to access apps or the internet while you're away, look at the options. You can see that through the app as well of what to purchase. And yeah, because if you use your phone without the Wi-Fi package, that price can go up pretty quick, depending on your phone plan and
carry.
So that's one big thing to keep in mind before you leave port and start to, use use your internet without Wi-Fi. All right, so you're enjoying it. We're enjoying it. I don't know. I'm like walking them through their day. But yeah, so hopefully by this time you've had a chance to, enjoy your food, take your time.
Look around.
You got there early. You were allowed on the ship early. I think for us, we actually got to Cabanas at 12. So our port arrival time So that worked out really well for us, and we were able to take our time. Aubrey had to take a quiz, so she did her quiz while we were in Cabanas.
Because we were still in port.
We were still
so
in port,
we had
yeah.
our
Wi-Fi hotspot,
and,
yeah.
and our hotspot. So we had that available.
So, and we had the time to do that. And then once we wrapped up there, I think around that time we checked to see if our room was ready, because we were there for a while.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
after we left there, it was probably maybe 1:30, and we were able to go to our room. And it wasn't long after that our luggage got there.
Yeah, so we did get there right when they removed the little cable across, and went down the hallway and checked our room. We put all of our heavy stuff in the room, and then we were checking what we wanted to do. Obviously, we did a little room tour. You can see that vlog. I'll show some clips here in a second when we go over the room itself. But then we checked to see what's going on. We wanted to see the kids area because there was some really cool things in there, and obviously we are not of age, so we knew we couldn't go in there on the normal hours, so we went to the open house time. That's what you'll look for if you're just wanting to check it out. If you want to check it out for your kids, or at least introduce them to the area and to the staff, cast members, before you leave them, that's a great opportunity for that. You wash your hands, go in, you can check it out. Really cool area. Love the Pixie Hollow and Marvel Toy Story room. Really cool. So we checked that out. We checked out, and that's called the Oceaneers Club. And then there's the Oceaneers Lab, which is like another extension of that. We checked that out as well. Now, we did all that. Now it's time for the sail wave party. All right, this is the big one. This is kind of what you see on TikTok, what you see, like everybody, woo, your vacation's starting. Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
What were your thoughts on the sail wave party?
I thought it was really fun, and you got to see a lot of the cast that are in some of the shows.
Yeah.
You got to see them as to begin with, and they're dancing and singing, and you get to see some of the characters, and it was really fun. And they have they panorama around and look at the crowd, and you can wave and see yourself and all that kind of stuff. It was fun.
Yeah, it's a really nice introduction. I also don't think it's too long. I think it's
No, it's not.
It's a
not
nice
crazy
little
long.
So that if you still have all your carry-on stuff, it's not like a super long show that you're like, oh, I'm gonna go home to the room. It's really quick, and I like what you said about seeing the entertainment, because, at the time we're just now seeing everybody, but when you look back on it, if you take videos, you're like, I know that after you've been on the ship for a while, I know who that is. I know their names now. Really liked the sail wave party, and that kind of officially gets the cruise moving. And now you're leaving port, so any of those last minute phone things, that is go time.
You gotta do it.
You gotta do it then. Okay. Now that we're talking about a moving ship, we're going to talk about seasickness. So, Aubrey was our only person to I mean, we felt it. We all felt the boat rocking, which it is a smaller boat. It's a smaller boat of the Disney fleet. I think it's smaller than the Carnival Breeze that you sailed on. So, there could be the argument that it's a smaller boat. It feels the waves a little more. But I also remember hearing from somebody else who had already been on the ship that they felt it way more this trip than they ever have before. So it could be the ocean on our trip. I will say for me, I didn't feel anything until maybe that first night, late that night. Because I remember the first time I really felt anything was when I sat on the bed to go to sleep. It was when I first was like, oh, it is kind of moving a little bit.
And one thing on this ship and the breeze, when you sit on the toilet, you can really feel.
You're like,
I don't know.
This isn't me moving.
Why the toilet feels more than
You're very grounded. You're very humble in that moment.
I don't know.
So, seasickness wise, if you think you'll be prone to seasickness, highly recommend ginger chews
and ginger pills.
The patch you
and
can
these
put behind your ears.
And the wristbands. Aubrey couldn't use the wristbands because she's had some wrist surgeries, and it irritated the scar or push it kind of puts a pressure point, and that was she couldn't wear those. But we have a friend that that's what they use.
Yeah.
The ginger drops and the ginger chews are really good. If you are severely sick, I recommend that you go to medical while you're there. They have other things that can help you. Don't just really suffer if you can't enjoy yourself because of it. Go and check and see if they can give you something additionally that and we also got some Dramamine.
Yes,
she took that at night.
Yeah, so that it can make you drowsy. One thing we noticed, which we heard this could be the case before too, is take it like 3 days before. Start taking it before your cruise, which we didn't, but we can see why, because by the third day Aubrey did feel generally better during the day. So
just keep that in mind.
That may or may not work for you.
And you can also talk to your physician and see, they may have something else that could help you too. Just just know that you need to do that prior to leaving if you want to be proactive on it.
Seasickness, very real. You can feel the boat. You may not, depending on the size or the way of the ocean. Aubrey also kind of started to feel nauseous when we were even still and just saw the movement of the water around us. So just know that it could also get to your head too. If you're really worried about it.
Think of it as a swing. If you can swing and you're okay with the swinging, then you just kind of visualize that that's what it is.
Yeah. There was one night when we were at Rapunzel's royal table, we were talking to one of the ruffians, and he was saying how he could really feel the stabilizers where we were sitting, and we were like, "Oh, is that normal?" He was just like, he's like, "I don't typically feel it, but it must be on some rough water or something to feel the stabilizers of the boat." So. Again,
it may just
you've got a lot of feeling going on.
That we were there as well.
There's a lot of feelings through the boat.
Yeah.
Just for people who may be seasick, those are some tips for you. And mainly, Aubrey felt the worst was like right when she woke up in the mornings, and it was like in the afternoon time, caught her bearings. She felt better, especially on that third day.
Yeah, so just know if you are sick in the mornings, just take your time getting up and moving, and don't rush it, and hopefully you'll feel better as the day goes by.
Now we're gonna move on to the room. We got on the Disney Magic a interior deluxe stateroom, and so that meant we did not have any kind of windows or portholes looking outside. Every stateroom comes with a split bathroom, with one side being the toilet, sink, and a mirror, and the other side with a shower, sink, and mirror. And I thought overall that it was pretty spacious, especially if you do 2 people. We actually got adjoining rooms, so we could split 4 of us into 2 rooms.
And I think the rooms were nice size for 2 adults, and if you had 2 smaller kids or 2 teenage, well, I don't know, it starts getting kind of crowded.
How big are your teenagers?
Children, I think it would have been fine with two kids and 2 adults. Mm-hmm. But I'm not really sure exactly. The people that we've talked to that had more than 2 adults and in a room, like we had met some people that had like 4 adults in a room, and it was very tight, they said. So
they were able to do it. They all liked each other, so they made it work.
And this was a short cruise. I think if it was longer, then that would have really been hard.
Yeah.
But a shorter cruise, I think with just 4 nights
that you
was
like,
not too bad.
4 people that you like.
But if it was any longer, I think that would be
really tough.
But
having a split bathroom does make that a little easier. You can have somebody take a shower, somebody use the restroom, and not have any, complications. I will say the bed, I think it's a full
No, it's a queen.
It's a queen?
The main bed in the room is a queen, and then it has
A twin
couch, and then it
a
has
pull down.
a twin bed that comes down from the ceiling that has a ladder to climb into.
Yeah.
But they come in and do the bed down for you each
Yeah.
night. So we didn't get to see the bed come down because we didn't need it.
It's funny, we were right next to each other, but we had two
had two
separate
different-
housekeepers.
yeah.
It was funny. They actually competed on Pirate Night of which towel creature was
Yeah.
better. They were great.
They were
Love it.
great. Yeah, that was awesome.
I really liked the bed. I thought it was comfortable.
I thought the bed was very comfortable. Much better on the Disney Magic than on the Carnival Breeze. The bed was so much more comfortable. I thought it was bigger, but I don't know if it was actually bigger, but I don't know, maybe it just was more comfortable and it felt better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the beds were really nice.
Yeah. Aubrey, she liked the way that the couch was facing, so she liked to sleep on the twin for the couch. She said it felt better on her stomach. So another tip for queasy people, I'm sorry, if you get seasick, that helped her. And she said that was really comfortable too. Storage wise, I think there's a lot of storage.
I thought there was a lot of storage.
The closets themselves are huge. Huge for a stateroom. Then you have a bunch of drawers and cabinets that are all empty for you to use.
And the beds are like the beds at the Disney resorts. They're high enough that your suitcases fit underneath them. So closed
if you don't
up. So
want to put your clothes in all the drawers, which you have
could just
plenty of
leave them
space to do
open.
that, but you can just
you
slide it
can
out.
slide them in and out.
Yes.
But there was I thought there was a lot of drawers. I mean, we probably didn't use all of the storage as far as the drawers and the closet because it was a short cruise. But
Yeah.
I think you would have had enough if you had brought clothes for over a week.
Yeah.
Maybe even the 2 weeks for some of those longer cruises. But
Yeah.
I thought it had a really good storage.
And you get your own little TV. Now, those TVs may seem a little dated. It is the oldest ship in the Disney fleet. However, you still have all the channels that come on a Disney cruise. So you can see the front of the boat. You can see where you're going. You also have all the Disney, not all, but an assortment of Disney movies.
A large assortment of Disney shows on demand.
Classics, newer ones. All on demand in your room. That was one of our favorite parts of the night, was just putting on a Disney movie to go to sleep. It was really nice. My main complaint, okay, so I'm not gonna have too many of these, but my main complaint with the interior staterooms was that I wish they had the magical portholes, like I think it's the Fantasy and the Dream. They have the magical portholes that have like the characters that come on and look like you're looking out the window. I understand that, maybe they just keep it more classic with the mirror. But that's the only thing that I'm like, oh, I wish that was just a little more magical. Another side note, Aubrey liked the interior because she didn't have to watch the water at all, or didn't have to see the water at all. So another plus for the interior.
And that could go both ways depending on who you are and how you, your body reacts. You may feel better if you can see out, or you may feel like her that you don't see it at all.
Yeah, and that also can just depend on like where you see value in your room. I know that there's people that they're like, what's the point of going on a cruise if you don't have a veranda? So if you have that perspective, then you will want to place a little bit more money forward to have those verandas. There are the ocean views with the huge portholes that people like to enjoy as well. My stance on that, as this was my first cruise ever, at least on the Disney cruise, there was so much to do that we weren't in our room very often.
And we were actually in our room more at night when you couldn't
can't
see
see
it you couldn't see out anyway.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the way we are on
That's
the
the way we
cruise
roll.
and at a resort.
Yeah.
We just don't spend a whole lot of time in the room.
Yeah. So that was our experience. If you feel like your family has that kind of stance on you're doing a lot of stuff, you're not in the room that often, maybe look at those interior rooms. In terms of how clean it was and, if there are things that are old, shower pressure, top notch. I felt rejuvenated after the shower. I felt like there was plenty of room in the shower. I felt like things were clean and tidy, and it didn't feel like it was an old room. The only thing that make it seem like it's older is the size of the TV, which is it's small but thick, and then maybe some of the it's got that older nautical flair to it. It's not this like modernized gray and white. It's those deep blues, browns, golds. So I enjoyed it. I didn't have any issues.
I thought as far as our room being cleaned every day, they actually came in twice a day. They came in while, after we got up and left the room, they came in and made the bed, tidied up, replaced towels and everything like that. And then in the evenings while we were gone, back out of the room after we had come in and, changed clothes for dinner and that kind of thing. Then they came back in, turned the bed down, tidied everything back up. And so they always kept our room, I thought, in excellent shape. Whereas if it was, a hotel and we don't get
you also
room
see
service
them
every day
too, because they're hanging out in the hallway doing other
all
rooms.
day
You
long.
see them all the time, so you say,
and
hey.
and if you need anything, you can ask them. If you need something changed in your room, they're there. They're always available during the day to ask for.
Did you feel like that was the same with Carnival?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. We had a really good housekeeping guy on our Carnival cruise, and I don't know. Did they learn our names?
Yeah. Well,
on this one?
at least our guy.
I think they all did. I think they all did.
They all
'Cause
learned
even
your
on the other boat, they did.
And I felt like they learned our schedule too, because when we were leaving and Aubrey felt sick that one day, he was like, "Hey, she's still in there? You're all not leaving together?
Why is she not with you?
Something's off." And we're like, "Okay, well, she's still in there. You don't have to do this room right now." So that's really cool. And another really special thing about that cruise experience, your cruise experience too. We haven't done all the cruise lines. We're very new to this, so again, we might be just spouting things. And you're like, "Yeah, duh." But but we're like, "Wow, that's so cool."
Yeah, we were impressed by.
Yeah. Speaking of the room, one last thing. When it comes to room service, we slightly mentioned this earlier. You can do the breakfast room service, fill out the card, and place it outside your room for something for breakfast at a certain time. We did that, and it's definitely lighter things. The little pastries. I think you can order eggs, maybe. I don't remember the whole menu, but it's definitely on the lighter end. For breakfast and coffee and juices. That came in handy with Aubrey in the morning because she did not feel well enough to go to the bigger breakfast at Cabanas.
The breakfast is amazing.
Yeah.
The breakfast buffet is out of this world.
Yeah. And then the nighttime room service where you call it in, be aware of when you call. It may take a little bit for it to get there. That is more of the snackish food. You get your charcuterie boards, some, grilled cheese, a burger. I say snackish. You can get full on it, but it's definitely not the best stuff. It's snack food, and you're gonna want to just snack. And then you can also get the desserts of warm cookies and milk at that time, and your Mickey Premium bars. You can get those for room service as well. And on that note, we'll head into the actual food, the main food, the food category. This is going to be a long one. All right, so when you think of food for a Disney cruise, the main thing you're probably going to think about is that it's a rotational dining experience. You will eat at one place one night and be scheduled for another place another night, and you'll rotate through all of the restaurants except for Palo. That's a separate thing, and that's an additional cost. And you'll eat everywhere at least once, probably more than once on some of those longer cruises. But for the 4-night, you'll have one night at each restaurant plus one twice for Pirate Night.
Pirate Night.
So our first dining experience was at Lumiere's. That has a vibe of like upscale French in the theme of Beauty and the Beast. And that's also where we met our waiters, Cabello and Jem. And they were awesome. Really just kick-started the thing. They will move with you to each rotational dining.
That's what's amazing because they get to go with you, and then so they learn what you like. They know your food allergies. You don't have to explain that every single place you go. So that was really nice. I didn't know that's or I didn't realize that. Supposedly that's how it's supposed to work on other cruises, but that's not how we
That wasn't your experience.
experienced it, the other cruise line. But I really, really liked that we got to experience that, because by the end of the time that we were on there, we really got to know them, and
we were chatting it up,
and really enjoyed talking to them and learning about them as well.
Yes, so that's a really nice touch with the Disney Cruise Line. Lumiere's, our dining experience in terms of how the food tasted. Honestly, I'm just going to do a blanket statement over all the restaurants. Appetizers, almost always delish. Especially the soups. I have become a soup connoisseur. Those soups are so good, especially the potato and leek soup from Lumiere's. Delicious. You may hear different things about what is popular, because I heard different things, but honestly, most places where I heard the best thing there is, one thing, I had something else, and I was like, this is better. So yeah, potato and leek soup, really good. Get that at Lumiere's if you end up going on cruise. Next restaurant we went to was Artist's Palette. Here is more of a mix of Americana,
contemporary,
yeah,
type food, and the way the presentations were more contemporary than elegant.
Yeah. Here is where it's really popular for the like persets. I will say those are good. Okay, people were right about that one.
The hype and those were right.
Yeah, those were delicious. Overall, I would say the appetizers again stood out more than the main entrees. I think the entrees at Artist Palette didn't suffer necessarily. They were just okay, especially compared to the night before at Lumiere's. I felt like the entrees there were just a little bit better. But you're getting done with dinner, you get a little bit of a show, because as you're sitting through the dining experience, the walls have art and the art is moving, and you kind of go through the process of animation of the initial sketches, making it have movement, and then adding color. And then we get a show from the man himself, Mickey, in his sorcerer garb. Comes out. He scared us. Where we sat, we were table 55. We're over in the far left corner when you walk in. That's where he comes out. Pops out of the corner. Scares you. And then he's off. But it was really cool. My favorite thing, though, is you get to cheer for your waiters. They get to do a little bow. And that is so cute. Made me tear up a little bit. I loved it. So honestly, that one, not only do you have the food, but you have the entertainment there. And so that, again, made that one stand out. So then you go to night 3, which was Pirate Night. And so we were back at Animator's Palette. I don't know if that's how it works every time, but we really lucked out, because Animator's Palette is amazing on Pirate Night, because they change up the art that goes on the walls, and it becomes a concept art for a bunch of your favorite pirate movies. Peter Pan, Pirates of the Caribbean. They even had Treasure Planet on there. I was freaking out. Cool. I was like, the waiters also get to dress up. If you dress up on Pirate Night, which we'll get into more details on that, but then you get to match the vibes of everything. So really like that night. That night they have a more of a, I want to say, either Caribbean or what is he called? Bahamian menu, where it's more like an islandy. We had crab cakes, a mango chutney kind of dip, lot of good stuff. I was surprised because that night was really good. I think that's the night Aubrey had the mango soup. Mm-hmm. It was wild, but it was good. I think that was better. I don't know if that's the same menu across all the restaurants. I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it is. I think all the restaurants do
have
the same
food,
menu
even if
on that night.
Yeah. So either way, whatever restaurant you're at, you're gonna have really good food that night. And so, again, the food is kind of, I wouldn't say knocking us off our feet, but it's surprising us because we have hit and misses throughout, but the hits hit and you want more. Our last night was at Rapunzel's Royal Table. There you also get a show with the Ruffians and Rapunzel and Flynn all coming out. You also become a part of the show when they do the dance around the restaurant, and everyone's invited. We thought it was only young kids. No, it is for literally everybody, and the waiters insist. I think almost half the restaurant got up the night we went, because I think you're supposed to like at least get almost back to your table at least once. We did not. By the time that the song was over, we still had to walk back to the table. So get up and enjoy, because it is fun. It's also really pretty in there because they have like lanterns
And they turn the lights down.
Yeah.
And you can see the lanterns flickering in the room, and it was pretty cool.
And they play your favorite songs from Tangled as well as some originals during the time that you're eating. So I think this was one of the worst experiences with the bread. The pretzel bread was really hard.
Yeah.
Don't know if it was just when it was out or whatever, but that was our thing, like least favorite food
Bread, yeah.
thing, bread. But
Each place had a different type of bread. But that was kind of our. And at first I was like, oh, because we really like pretzels, but no, it needed a bunch. It would have needed a bunch of cheese or something. It needed something.
But I think this is the only place where I think the entrees did better than the appetizers, because I loved my Tangled pasta. It's like green pasta with scallops. You had the Flynn Rider plate, which was a bunch of food.
A lot of meat.
I don't quite remember what Aubrey got, but
You can look at the video.
overall, I think the entrees were the best comparatively at Rapunzel's. And that's also where we had breakfast, which you just saw on the Debarkation clips. And it's just like a little light breakfast. I don't think
It was still. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was just a little light
yeah.
something before you head out. And your last chance to talk with your new friends, servers. Now, when it comes to those rotational dinings, you, before your cruise, can pick if you want the early dinings, where you go to dinner at 5-ish. 5:45?
Yeah, 5:30, or was it 5:30 to 6? I can't remember.
5:30-ish. And then you wrap up, and then you can go to the theatrical show or Broadway style show at 8. Or the opposite, you can go to the early show at 5:30-ish and then go to dinner at 8:30-ish. And we did the early one. So we did dinner, then the show. And we really liked that. We felt like we had plenty of time between dinner and the show. We never felt rushed. I think we were some of the last people in the restaurant, and we were still some of the first people in line to get into the theater. So if you feel like, you'll be rushed, no, you won't. You've got plenty of time. You can diddly-dally. There's really no rush at all. But we do have friends who said they like to do the
later
show,
dining.
or they like to do the show, then dinner.
The later dining.
Really just depends on your preference. Either way, it works out. Those are the main rotational dinings. You also have Palo, which is an extra cost, which you would have to
get reservations
for. They may have some spots open, the day of, if you go and ask. We did not do that because we wanted to do all the things that were included with our cruise. But people hyped up Palo all the time, saying it was the best. So there's that. But I didn't feel like we missed out at all.
No.
I really enjoyed everything we did. But maybe if you had like a longer cruise, you'd want to try out.
I just didn't want to miss going to one of the dining experiences.
Yeah.
Since this was a short cruise, but maybe on a longer cruise, then that might be something that we would consider.
Yeah. The other main dining that we enjoyed quite often was Cabanas. That buffet. It changes
So
every
good.
day. Every day, that's where we went for breakfast. Lots of options, changed every day. On the second to last day, or the last day at sea, they had the the Mickey churro waffles. Mickey waffles in general are a hot commodity, so if they're running low, just wait a couple seconds, but keep your eye open so that you
Yeah,
can.
because they go fast.
They're
when
like
they put 'em
vultures
out.
that everyone's after them. And then they switch up their eggs Benedict every day. I love the breakfast.
The breakfast
the hash browns
was great. Oh yeah, the hash browns were so good.
Stellar.
Yeah. While we're talking about food, the only
Yeah.
thing that I didn't really care for was the cheesecakes.
Yeah.
They had a textural issue. It's like they
think they-
used
a lot
too
of
much
gelatin,
Jell-O.
yeah.
Gelatin in it. But all the other food was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to beat the ice cream. So the
yeah.
other desserts were just kind of like,
Yeah.
the ice cream is amazing.
Yes. Soft serve, almost always open, however much you want. We'll say Tangled, their creme brulee cheesecake. That one was
was
good. They nailed that one. I think it's more of the cheesecakes they feel like will sit out for a while. They may just put too much gelatin in those, at least in our experience. So that was our didn't love that. They looked better
They
than
looked
tasted.
really, really good. But it was like,
Not our fave. So that was Cabanas. Highly recommend eating there. Now, one thing we were kind of surprised about was I don't want to say quality, but kind of the quality of the deck food. So that includes like Daisy's Delights, the Duck Inn Diner, Pinocchio's
pizza.
Pizza. That just wasn't as amazing as we thought it was going to be. I enjoyed my shawarma from Duck Inn Diner. I think it was because of that garlic aioli, and they made it in front of me. But y'all didn't really love the burgers.
I had the I had the bratwurst, and I liked it. It wasn't anything spectacular, but
Yeah.
it was okay. Daddy got the fish sandwich.
Yeah.
And
They fried it fresh. I think it was more so it just wasn't anything super special. We'd rather go to Cabanas kind of deal.
Yeah.
Which, maybe if you're at the pool all day, you don't want to go inside.
or if you have picky
Right.
eaters,
Yeah.
the chicken tenders and
Yeah.
fries and the burger and the hot
That'll
dog
do.
and fries, that that may be
Yeah.
a good option for them, but for our pleasure, we like
We like more
we
options.
like good food.
Yeah. And y'all said that in comparison to Carnival,
Pinocchio's pizza does not compare to the pizza that they have on Carnival. The Carnival pizza is so good.
yeah.
So
you had
that
the-
was I was a
and
little
you had
I was
Guy's
pretty disappointed.
burgers,
And Guy,
so-
yeah, they have Guy Fieri burgers on Carnival and that on their deck, and that's really good.
Yeah.
But as far as the buffets and the dinners, and that Disney I think does a better job.
Yeah.
On those, but for as far as the fast food,
Yeah,
the deck
quicks,
foods,
yeah.
quick
Quick grabs.
quick grabs, I think Carnival may have a little bit better options.
And again, that's just our experience. That's
Yeah,
just what,
I don't know.
but it's something to think
only
about.
been on-
to
we only been
consider.
on one Disney boat.
Yeah. Can't say
So-
that's how it was for all of them, but that's how it was for us on the Magic. When it comes to drinks, one, you have your refill stations, and those have Coke products.
Coke.
We love a good
Disney
Coke.
loves Coke.
More Coke people than Pepsi people. I do like a Pepsi from time to time, but more of a Coke person. And so it is Coke products at those refill stations, and that's, refills all day long, all through the night too. And, quick notice though, room service, canned Cokes cost extra.
Yes.
Just so
Yes,
you
if
know.
if you order a Coke from room service, you do pay. So take a cup or buy a cup for your stateroom, and fill it up before you go
Yeah.
go in for the evening.
Now, the different kind of drink, though, your alcoholic variety, there are plenty of lounges and places to get a good drink. The kind of main lounges at after hours, it's like this little group of them. Those will include Fathoms, Keys, and O'Gill's Pub. They all have different vibes, and they all host different activities throughout the day. So, you may go into Fathoms while they're having a trivia or, different things. Kind of just a review of each one. O'Gill's is definitely the chill pub. They play sports games on the TVs. I think they had your favorite drink. Was it the frozen leprechaun or something?
Yes. they had. I liked all their drinks there.
Yeah.
All the drinks that we got. We went there twice, and they were all really good. But yeah, the frozen leprechaun was amazing.
So that one's definitely the more chill. I loved the little sunken seats by the windows. You can also get your drink of the day at any of these.
And they have in the evenings, they have a little
buffet,
little finger food buffet.
Yeah, that was cool.
Evenings, yeah. So that was
we got
nice.
to see that. And then you can go over to Keys, and that one's more of the I want to say high class piano bar. They play all kinds of music. It can get, they can play some rock and roll on the piano. It can get a little rowdy, but overall it feels a lot nicer and maybe more
Kinda
romantic.
Hip, yeah. I thought it was kind of hip, more hip.
Okay.
As far as, I don't know, kind of jazzy.
Yeah.
Feel to it than just
classy.
Yeah, kind of classy. It was nice.
Yeah.
We didn't stay there as long as
we just
stayed
did the one.
other.
Yeah, one time.
One time, but
I think that one can get pretty full though with the piano playing. Another one that can get quite full is Fathoms. Now that one is definitely more the nightclub variety where they have a lot of the adult game nights. Now,
and they have a dance floor.
Yeah. So it can turn into the club and lights and high pitched music. We like that one. I like the drinks there. The Blue Tang was my favorite drink there. Highly recommend that one. Fathoms has its own vibe for sure. I think of the three, O'Gill's is my favorite. I would go there a lot more often. But we'll get more into activities and why Fathoms is really fun. But to go over some of the lounges, you also have D Lounge. Now that one is more of just kind of an activities thing. It could be trivia, family game. That's where they had the Disney Vacation Club presentation. They have a bar in there, but we never saw it be used. We never saw a bartender there.
So we're not sure if if that's on a longer cruise, if maybe they use that, but for ours, they never did anything with that bar.
So we were in there for just other things. And then Signals is the adults only bar on the adults only pool side.
That's one of the things that I also liked about the Disney cruise is that even though it's, you may think of it that it's more focused towards children, it's not. There's quite a few adult only areas, so if you want adult time or you don't want to go with your kids, or you don't have kids,
and that's why they have those kids clubs too, is the kids can enjoy that while you go enjoy adults only
and not have to worry about being, while your kids are away, you don't have to worry about other people's kids in your business.
That's true. Yeah, so that's the adults only one. I love Signals. You get the beach vibe because you're at the pool, but they had the best margarita. That was one of the best drinks of the whole cruise, in my opinion. It was a delicious margarita, and they probably just have that nailed down, but I was delighted by that. We also have Soul Cat. That's the lounge close to Rapunzel's, and it's themed after the Pixar movie Soul. And so it's got the jazzy kind of vibe. We were there for trivia, and they had some really good drinks there. Dad really enjoyed his old-fashioned.
Old smoky old-fashioned.
Yeah. Aubrey half enjoyed that nautical drink she got. It had some kind of wine in it that I think surprised her. Yeah, that one's like a nice little one too. They do have some snacks there that we just didn't have time to try. So yeah, Soul Cat, really good. Cove Cafe, that one was hyped up a lot. I liked the coffee. I just didn't think it was crazy. I didn't have the urge to go back. The vibe inside was nice though. And I think it is on the adults only side. So again, it's kind of, you know, more quiet. There's not a lot of kids, not any kids that we saw. Just, I don't know, I think it's a little overhyped. So don't get your expectations like out the window for that one. But they do have snacks that are included. The drinks are not though. And none of these drinks are. There's not a drink package. Drinks are always extra, or alcoholic drinks are always extra. So keep that in mind. The last place I'm going to mention, it's not a lounge, but the Frozone next to, you know, Duck and Diner, next to the soft serve. That is where Aubrey got her Sven bottle. Mom got the Christmas cup. That you can also get alcoholic beverages there too, and you can get Dole Whips there. Or did they have?
They had like Cokes and that,
Yeah.
and waters and
Lots of stuff there.
Yeah.
Dad got a
Crown and Coke. Crown.
Coke. So you can get that there too. And that was pretty good. It was strong. So yeah, lots of options there in terms of your lounges, your drinks. They all have different vibes. You're going to find one that suits you and you're going to want to go back. That kind of wraps up our food and drinks. Now, activities. This is where it's just kind of all over the place. So just overall generalization, there is always something to do. If you want to do something, get there early, especially when it comes to characters. If there's a character you see on the schedule, Bruno is meeting at this time, get there early. And it's important because if they have characters stacked, like when they had the Avengers one after another, they will cut off the line and start the next line after. So you may see Black Panther's line is really long. Well, you get and you know, you're showing up 10 minutes after he's already started. You get at the end of that line, they may say, oh, you're here to meet Thor, right? And you're like, I see Black Panther's over there. No, his line has been cut off because Thor is next. And by the time you reach that, Thor is going to be out there. So, you really want to meet Black Panther, you need to get there early. And that's just a rule of thumb for all the characters. If you do see someone, like when I said Bruno, we just walked up on Bruno and it happened to be, you know, on time. It worked out for us. So in some cases, you can walk up on a character and meet them.
Somebody you really want to see, you should get there early. And get in line and be ready. And look at the schedule because that person may only be meeting once throughout your whole cruise. Well, so once you...
on the short cruises especially. Yeah.
So once you get on and you get your, you know, the app going, and once you get on the boat and figure out, you know, talk about who you want to see, make sure that you see if they're only going to be there once, that you get there in plenty of time to... early, I mean.
Yeah, Pluto was a priority for Aubrey, so we made sure we were there for Pluto on that first night to knock him out. Just play it. Again, once you're there, plan it out. Get there early for those that you really want to meet. And that also goes for Pirate Night. If you want to get all the special characters from Pirate Night, get dressed. If you're dressing up, get dressed early in the afternoon and start making your way through the lines. Captain Hook, Smee, Captain Jack Sparrow, all the Fab Five in their pirate outfits. Yeah, they're all there, so you gotta make your way and then do dinner and so there's a lot to do. Again, some other just general activities, trivias, all over the place, all kinds of topics. If you think you're really good at a trivia, prepare to be humbled because there are some trivia stars on these ships and they are serious. They're serious about getting those medals or medallions, so just be aware. Practice before. They also have a movie theater that has newish movies. When we went in January, they had Moana 2 and Mufasa playing. Some very new ones. I think they also had Inside Out 2 still going someplace, you know, every once in a while, but pretty cool. You could watch those movies. They also have Funnel Visions out by the pool. You can watch a Disney movie out there. And then, of course, they have their Broadway level shows at night. They only play
different
twice.
show.
Different show every
Every
night.
night.
Pretty crazy. Plus you have, your sail away parties, your pirate party, a bunch of those. Now, game shows, those are fun. That's where we're circling back to Fathoms. If you are 21 and over, you have to go watch Match Your Mate. That is so much fun. I felt like we were in a movie because it is so funny. It worked like the storyline of these random people. It's amazing. Shout out to all the people who played on the night we were there. Let's see if I can remember their names. Sergio, Bella, Amber, Jacob, I think. Amber and Jacob, and Bob and Lynn. Y'all were great. It was amazing. So good. So I highly recommend that. You got your pools, adults only, your main everyone pool.
Water slide. They had the water slide.
Your gym, which you go through the spots of the gym. Dan and I really enjoyed it. We got to see outside the front of the boat from the gym view and see the sunrise from there. Really nice.
And every day they saw the cruise director.
Every day we saw it, yeah. That was nice. We got to say hey. And the spa itself, that's an extra cost, but seemed really nice. They always had nice sounds and things available in there. But yeah, there's just a lot to do. Again, check your app for your hub of things going on, and you're going to be busy. And that's why we were never in the room, because we were always doing something. Now we're going to talk about Progresso, and that's the one stop or one port we had on our trip, and it was my first time out of the country. Oh my gosh, so crazy. And long story short, we didn't want to do any excursions, so here's our review of just being off the boat.
Well, if you go to Progresso, it's a 20-minute ride.
It's a long gangway,
where the
boat docks,
where the ships dock. It doesn't matter what ship you're on. You have to ride, because you either have to get your own taxi or ride the buses into Progresso itself and do your excursions. But I personally have really enjoyed being on the boat when the majority of the people are off doing other stuff. It's not that crowded anyway, but it's not as crowded, and you can shop and you can't shop while you're in port.
Right.
The shops are closed, but you can go enjoy other things around the boat without anybody there.
And that was going to be my recommendation, is to enjoy a more empty boat while people are out away. We did step off the boat.
We got off and went. There's a small little shopping center there right off the boat, or right off the.
If you want a magnet or something. I will say, if you are very uncomfortable with hecklers, or like people trying
not
to
hecklers, but people wanting to
sell you something
like
hard.
As you're walking through, they, just constantly, hey, come in here and buy this. You want a t-shirt? We have t-shirts. Come buy this. And if you're not used to that, it could get kind of, you just go in the first big shop that looks like a regular mall and get your stuff, and then get out. Because when you go out to all the little single shops, they try and pressure you into coming in and buying stuff.
And I know they're just doing their job. They see these people, we see travelers all the time, so totally understand. I just know that if you feel uncomfortable with that, to be aware.
Just know. And then there's people that are dressed up, and they want to take your picture with them and
a tip,
and then they want you to give them money for a tip. So
just be aware.
And there's people like Daddy that's kind of this big sucker for it, and he always tips them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want a picture, just tip for a picture. Just know that there'll be. It's not a free picture.
Yeah, it's not a free picture.
So we did. We hopped off, did a little shopping, and got right back on. It's a very seamless process. When you get off the ship, you're going to want to have your key to the world card that they give you. Here's your room key. That'll be your key on and off the boat.
And your ID.
And you buy any liquor or, liquor bottles. Even, is it wine too? Just know that some things may be confiscated at the door, but you will get that at the end of the cruise.
Yeah.
You just can't have it with you in your room, but you'll get it back later. Oh, the other tip is, if you don't have any excursions planned, if you just wanted to see Progresso a little bit, hop off the boat, you I would recommend you hang back, do like a later breakfast at Cabanas or wherever, so that the majority of the people can get off the boat and you're not in that rush of people.
Yeah, 'cause-
we did that, and I feel like that worked out for us.
Yeah, because if the people who purchased excursions have a certain time they have to meet, and so they're going to be rushing off. And
Yeah.
if you don't want to get in that tidal wave of those people, then just hang back if you don't have any.
And even if you're not getting on the boat or getting off the boat, hang back, because breakfast will be crazy. The buffet will be crazy. People are trying to eat and go. So just a little tip, if you're not going to be out there that early, hang back a little bit and
And it's a lot,
enjoy
lot
less
more
people.
relaxed
Yeah.
if you wait for that wave of people to get out.
Next up is Pirate Night. We've kind of already touched on a few things of Pirate Night. How Animator's Palette, they have that special food. Dressing up is highly encouraged. You may
It's fun.
feel a little out of place as you're like getting ready to leave, but you are going to get so many compliments for being dressed up.
And so many people will dress up.
Yeah.
It's the majority of the people dress up and go with the theme.
You also get
So-
those free
bandanas.
I almost said cabanas. Free bandanas
So
that you can
everybody
wear. So no excuses. And yeah, it's just a fun night.
Fun little show with Captain Hook and the bad pirates. And then
Everybody
Mickey
gets
and
involved
the good pirates.
too.
Yeah.
Because the kids clubs get special dance breaks in front of everybody.
They practice for this, to have a part in the
Yes.
show. So it was really cute.
It's awesome.
And fireworks afterwards.
And our biggest tip for this is once you finish with dinner, depending on the time of, when everything, or when you're ready to go to the show, get there 20 to 30 minutes early. It may seem like a long time, but you are not going to regret it, because when it starts to pack up, and then it is really
It's
hard to
fast.
find a spot. And if you want a very good view of the fireworks and the show, highly recommend, if you're facing the screen on the funnel or facing the stage, go on the right side. I don't know the boat version. Port, I don't know.
I don't know.
Starboard, some of them. Get on the right side of the screen on deck 10, so on the upper deck, and that way you can see the show from
Really good.
Get that high vantage point, and then when the fireworks start, you literally turn
around and it's right there.
That's all you see is the fireworks. So that is our tip for that. You also get a really good view of Mickey when he takes flight.
When he does his surprise.
Yes, so that is our biggest tip for Pirate Night. And like I said, with the characters, get there early. Try to, maximize those special pirate experiences. The other thing about Pirate Night is they do have some specialty pirate cups for the alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. I believe it's the cup you can get when you're out on the deck for the party. Dad finished his drink, put his drink in his backpack, and when we were turning and watching the fireworks, his cup touched the railing, and it actually fell on the other side and crushed on the ground beneath. Luckily, nobody was there. Nobody got hurt. Just our egos and our feelings when the cup busted. Luckily, it was at the end of the show, so we were able to go down there, pick it up, and ask the bartenders if there was any extras to replace it, and they were kind enough to have those to replace, and they just replaced it for us. So I think supplies will definitely play a factor in that, because when he had said, let me check to see what we have, we were like, so they may run out, but of course they'll always try to make.
And you can, just so if something happens, just you can ask.
Yeah.
Maybe they can do it if they can. They will if they can.
Now on to shopping. There's two main stores on the Disney Magic, and they are kind of towards in the middle of the ship, right off the atrium, I think on deck 4, and that's where you'll do a lot of it. However, those are closed on port days, and they only have certain hours. I think there's another shop in after hours. That one was always closed, so that one had really specific hours. The other place you'll do shopping is in this little corridor with shutters, and there's this little diamond store as well. Shutters is where you're going to go to get your pictures and order your packages of either prints or digitals. It's really important, and this is just a tip, overall tip. Go there I think your last C day or even the day before to order your package and whatever prints you want, to kind of look into that, because it does take time to print and you'll want to have plenty of time to do that. This biggest tip is to get there early. Don't wait till the last minute to do your pictures, and also go through all the packages to see what's best for you. I think we had like purchased something and we were like, oh, there's another better deal of something we would want, closer to what we were wanting.
Go through the packages to make sure. No, don't just think, oh, this is the one I want. Wait till you go through so that, because we were able to get a refund and then buy the one that we wanted, the second one that we found. But, it was kind of not a big deal, but it took a little bit of extra time. We had to get help. They were, and they're very extremely helpful. They are very helpful. And so, but yeah, just go through all of the options before you decide.
So we're wrapping up now. We are heading into our debarkation category, and the main things we want to point out here are that you do have options when it comes to your luggage and debarking. You can get your checked luggage and finish packing that, set it outside of your stateroom the night before you debark, and they will take that and you'll have your carry-on for the morning of, and you'll wait until your category of luggage is called.
They'll give you the night before or the day before, they'll give you a category tag to put on your luggage.
Like it's Tinkerbell. I think that's what we were. Yeah. And so then once you have breakfast, which is located on your app where you're eating breakfast that last morning, you'll wait until your luggage tag is called, and that's when you'll head out. Your other option is you keep your luggage with you and you take it to breakfast. So pros and cons. Pros is it's with you, so whenever you're done with breakfast, you can get off.
Go.
You don't have to wait
for your luggage.
Cons is you do have to lug it around with you, and you'll have to set it right at the entrance of the restaurant. So kind of like a stroller scenario. If you're worried about something being taken or, something happening to it, it is sitting there, nothing will probably happen.
Yeah. There's staff that's, close by, but they are not watching it the whole time.
Yeah.
So I did not feel uncomfortable. We even had like stuff sticking out of our bags, and we didn't have any issues. But if it's something that you feel, you could take part of it, what you could set under the table with you, I guess, if you were really concerned about it.
Or if you have tons of luggage and you have younger kids
then you may want to
carry their own, then you may want to check.
To check, have them take your luggage. But just remember that you have to set it out the night before, and if there's anything that you need to make sure that you keep it out, because you can't, it's not like, I'm just going to have them bring it back up. They can't do that.
Yeah. Pros and cons to each, and just something to keep in mind when you're getting ready to debark. They do have the breakfast that morning. I think it's more of like lighter, it's not like light like the room service, but it's not buffet style, whatever you want.
All you can eat. Well, I guess if you wanted more than what you ordered, they could do it, but it's pretty much they want you to eat and go. They don't push you out or anything. We stayed a few minutes after people started leaving just so we could say goodbye to our wait staff, but it's pretty much it's so that you can get off so that they can start getting ready for the next group, because they're going to start coming on, only a couple hours after your group gets off.
Yeah. And once you're done with breakfast, if you're not waiting on your luggage tag to be called, then it's going to go fast. You're going to basically just walk off the boat. They do like a little check-in with your, or check out with your key to the world card, and then you are heading out. They do a little security check, but nothing crazy that we experienced. You walk by all the luggage tags or luggages that were tagged. So if you're called, then you walk off and then you go to where your luggage is. and then you walk out the port. And if you're parked in the express parking lot, then you're already back at your car. It's really quick. And if you're not, then you just walk across the street. So yeah, it's pretty quick afterwards. So if you have any last minute things that you want to do, think about it on your last day, probably your last sea day, because that debarkation morning is going to go by really fast. One other thing to do on that last day / last morning is if you are thinking about doing another cruise, if you had a great time and want to do another cruise, they have the bounce back offer. And that is you just pay a little bit of money to place a hold. I think that's like a 2-year hold.
You have to do it within 2 years.
A 2-year hold saying you'll take a Disney cruise in the next 2 years, and you get, I think it's 10% off your cruise.
And you have to put down a small down, but I think we paid $250.
$250 per room.
Per room, down payment on the next cruise, and it's fully refundable if you decide
You can't do it,
that
or
you
there's
can't
no
do it.
itineraries that you're interested in.
Yeah, then it's fully refundable. You get the money back if you don't want to do it, but it's a pretty good savings. I mean, it'll be worth it, I think, for when, because we're going to do another one.
We're doing it.
I really after the first cruise we went on, I was like, I just don't see how people do this. It was like, I mean, because they didn't have a new show every single night. They didn't, they didn't have different characters and different themings and that kind of thing. And I'm like, I just don't see how people do this, multiple times a year or every year or, for more than 5 nights. But after we went on this Disney cruise, I was like, oh yeah, I get it. And I
want to be in the Castaway Club.
I will do this again. I will do another Disney cruise. Hopefully we can go on a different ship, but if we can't, if that doesn't work out, then hopefully we'll go on a longer one for the Magic and maybe a different port.
I'd love a different itinerary. Maybe Alaska. But yeah, we're really
Castaway
excited.
Cay. I wouldn't mind. I would really like to go there. Whether if it's the next one or the one after that, who knows?
The future is bright.
But I would like to go to Alaska and to Castaway Cay. So
so secrets out. We're going on another one, hopefully within the next 2 years, to use our bounce back offer. Nothing's in motion yet, but we're looking. So that kind of brings us to the end, and just overall thoughts on the Disney Cruise Line, Disney Magic ship. I think, of course, Disney does customer service so well. The cast members are great. It is kind of funny to see how different cast members are from, like the parks to cruise industry cast members who are from all over the place. But they still have that, fantastic level of service, and, you really get to know them and talk with them and, feel connected to the ship in a way. And so that was definitely a highlight for me. And that goes across, our wait staff, our housekeepers, our the people who are in entertainment. You see them on the boat and you get to talk with them. And it was just fantastic. And that was a huge highlight for me. What about you?
Yes, getting to know the cast members, and, you seeing somebody in the production at night and then seeing them somewhere else on the boat. That was real. And then trying to guess, is that cast member, was that who we saw in the, was that Prince Charming the night before? That was fun. I really enjoyed. This was a small boat. If it's, if there wasn't a crazy number of people, I felt like it was more relaxed than the larger boat that we had gone on before. So I don't know, again, if it was just that this was a Disney cruise and this, the other one wasn't, I'm not sure, but it was like almost half of the number of people on this cruise than the previous one that we went on.
I would say, I think there's only 2,700 spots available for passengers, and you really felt that because, like you said, it's pretty spread out. The only places that ever felt congested, I would say, are like the atrium, if there's a character out or something's happening in the atrium, and maybe on a couple of the hallways when, you know, people are lining up for dinner or lining up for the show, but that's the only time you ever really felt like, oh, okay, there's got a few people here.
Well, and the other boats with the other more people are bigger. But I felt like the smaller one we were able to navigate, and you know, if it's your first time, maybe
You can't
maybe
get turned
you
around
can,
too.
you know, just that maybe a smaller boat is a
nice
good
starting
point.
I'm really happy we tried. My first cruise was this 4-night small ship, the first ship in the Disney fleet. I felt it was a great entrance into that world. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to other people. If you are a Disney parks person, you still have the magic of Disney just on the sea. It is different. It's not a direct comparison. It's a whole other thing, but you still have that degree of Disney there that makes it so enjoyable, because at the heart of it, we're Disney people. We love the stories and storytelling, and that is obvious throughout the boat. Even like walking through the halls, you hear the song from Tinkerbell or, you know, Home on the Range. It's just like, whoa, you know, you just have those moments of, I feel great right now. Yeah. So overall, would recommend it. We're going to try and go on another one. And there are things here and there, you know, you wish you can improve upon. But obviously, you know, that's with any scenario, any
place
anything.
that you go.
But yeah, we had a great time. And we can't wait to go on our next one.
Yes.
And thank you for staying through this long review. I hope you got some, you know, good tips out of this, some better understanding of this, or maybe a new perspective. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky at Elmore Family Adventures. And until next time, we'll see y'all later. Bye.